You ever have that feeling like someone's pissing on your boots and telling you it's raining? That's been my marriage lately. I ain't one to air dirty laundry, but hell, sometimes you gotta hang it out just to see where the stains really are. My name's Chuck. Been married to Trisha for 10 years this June. We've got one little boy, Jake. He's 6 and smarter than I ever was at that age, and we live in a decent enough place just outside Knoxville. I work full-time at a garage, been twisting wrenches since before I could legally drink. Trisha works part-time as a dental assistant, or so she says. Now I ain't some big romantic or one of them touchy-feely types. I don't write poetry, and I sure as hell don't believe every rom-com line about soulmates and happily ever after. Marriage, far as I know, is like keeping an old truck running. You gotta maintain it, patch the leaks, change the oil, and hope to God the damn transmission don't fall out. For the most part, we got along. Yeah, she gets snippy sometimes, and I can be stubborn as a mule, but we used to laugh, talk, fool around now and then. But somewhere in the last year, that laughter turned to silence, the talk turned to eye rolls, and the fooling around? Might as well have put a tombstone over our bed. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Kids in school now, money's tighter than a bull's ass in fly season, and we ain't getting any younger. But over the last few months, little things started creeping in. Things that didn't sit right. The first thing that got me scratching my head was the gym. Trisha ain't never been into fitness. I mean, she ain't lazy or nothing, but she always said running was for people being chased. Then out of the blue, she signs up for a gym membership, says she wants to tone up and feel better. Alright. I ain't complaining. But then she starts going 4 times a week, sometimes twice in a day. Always showering after she gets home instead of there, which don't make sense, 'cause the place has nice facilities. One time I asked if she wanted to go together, and she looked at me like I farted in church. That's my time, she said real snappy. I don't want you crowed in it. Crowed in it? We ain't exactly Siamese twins. Hell, she couldn't wait to get away from me half the time. But I didn't push. Just took note. Then came the new clothes. She's always liked shopping, sure, but now she's got a closet full of stuff with tags still on. Tight stuff. Bright colors. Crop tops, short shorts, things she wouldn't have worn when we were datin'. She says it's just for the gym. But I ain't never seen nobody do squats in heels. And you ever notice when someone starts telling you little lies that don't matter, like what they had for lunch or where they left their keys, it usually means they're trying to get good at lying about bigger stuff? That's what Trisha's been doing. White lies all over the place. One time she said she went to Target to get toothpaste. Comes home with a bag from Ulta and no toothpaste. I ask her about it, and she acts like I'm crazy for bringing it up. Oh, I must have forgotten it, big deal. Thing is, she used to be sharper than that. She ain't forgetful. She's calculatin'. When she starts pretending to forget, it's because she don't want me digging deeper. Another time I noticed a charge on our joint card, $76 from some bistro downtown. I ask her about it. She says, oh, me and Denise grabbed lunch there after work. Funny thing is, I ran into Denise 2 days later at the gas station. Just making small talk, I mention the lunch. Denise squints at me like I've grown a third eyeball. Oh, Trisha must be mixing it up. I haven't seen her in weeks, she says. So now I know my wife is lying. I just don't know why yet. And then there's the phone. Sweet Jesus, the phone. Used to be she'd leave it lying around, forget it in the kitchen, drop it in the couch cushions. Now, that thing's welded to her hand like it's keeping her alive. Texting constantly. She keeps the screen dimmed so you can't see the messages unless you're right on top of it. Always giggling at it, then looking up at me like I just wandered in from the barn. Who you talking to? I asked one night, leaning on the doorway while she lounged on the couch. She jumped like I threw a rock at her. God, Chuck. It's just a group chat with the girls. You don't have to interrogate me. Interrogate? I asked one damn question. So I start noticing patterns. She always gets real cagey on Tuesdays and Fridays. Says she's working late. On Fridays and book in extra cleanings. On Tuesdays. But the dental office closes at 5, and she ain't home till 7:30. I ask if she wants me to come by and drop off dinner sometime, and she shoots me down so fast you'd think I offered her a live grenade. Nah, we're too busy. You'd just be in the way. In the way? Huh? Of what, exactly? I don't say anything, though. Not yet. I just start quietly stacking cards in my mental deck. Watchin'. Waitin'. Collectin'. Here's the thing about folks who lie. They never remember the details. And if you're patient enough, they'll always trip over their own bullshit. And buddy, Trish is starting to stumble. But I ain't jumping to conclusions yet. Nah. That ain't how this story ends. I'm biding my time. Watching her get sloppier. 'Cause sooner or later that mask is gonna slip. And when it does, I'll be ready. So after all the weirdness, the lies, the perfume, the gym obsession, I started treating this like a job. Hell, I was more focused on figuring her out than changing brake pads at the shop. Every move she made, every word she said, I started watching like I was taking notes for a final exam. You ever hear a lie and just know it don't fit? Like trying to jam a Ford tailpipe into a Chevy? That's how every conversation started feeling. Like the one on a Thursday night, not too long ago. She came in around 8:30, claiming she'd been stuck behind a wreck on the interstate. I looked it up, no wrecks. Nothing but clear roads. So I asked, real casual like, "Did you see any fire trucks?" She blinked like she forgot her lines. Yeah, 3 of them. It was crazy. I smiled. Huh. Must have been cleaned up real fast. Not even a mention on the traffic app. She didn't say a word. Just went upstairs. I could hear her walking funny, like she was trying not to limp. Now I ain't saying anything just yet. But let me tell you, that mental file I was keeping on her? It's looking like a damn encyclopedia by this point. Then one night, I notice she's cleaning like we're hosting the president. Lighting candles, putting on jazz music, which she don't even like, wiping down baseboards like she's on a game show. I ask her what's up, and she says she's just in the mood to reset the energy of the house. The hell does that even mean? I poke a bit. We expecting company? She scoffs. Can't a woman want a clean house without it being a conspiracy? I hold up my hands. Sure. Just don't forget to sage the demons out while you're at it. She didn't laugh. Used to be she thought I was funny. Now she looks at me like I'm a nuisance with a heartbeat. It's around this time I start getting a funny feeling about our neighbor, too. Fella named Gary. Mid-40s, recently divorced, drives a black BMW and runs his sprinklers at 2 a.m. for reasons only God understands. I caught him looking over our fence one morning while Trisha was out back stretching. He waved at me like he didn't just get caught staring at her ass. I didn't wave back. Couple days later, I noticed a receipt on the counter. Smoothie place across town. 2 drinks. I asked her about it. Oh, I grabbed one for Denise. Denise again. Our imaginary friend. Thought you said Denise was out of town this week? She doesn't miss a beat. She got back early. See, this is where she's slipping. She's so used to me not asking questions, she forgot I started taking notes. Now, here's where it really starts twisting. One Friday night, I come home a bit earlier than usual. Thought I'd surprise her, maybe take her out to dinner, get back some of that old spark. House is dark. I walk in, and I hear the shower running. Weird, 'cause she never showers that early before bed. I poke my head in. Hey babe, I'm home. Dead silence. Shower shuts off. She comes out wrapped in a towel, hair dry as a bone. Oh, I was just freshening up, she says. Right. Dry towel, no steam, makeup still perfect. You feeling all right? I ask. She smiles. That fake, glossy kind that don't touch the eyes. Yeah, just tired. Work was crazy. She says that every time I catch her acting funny. Work was crazy. I ought to get it printed on a damn t-shirt. Then came the weekend where everything almost blew wide open. Jake had a little friend's birthday party on Saturday. Tricia said she'd take him and let me have a relaxing day, which was already out of character. She don't usually volunteer for mom duty unless there's something in it for her. But I didn't argue. They were gone 4 hours. Came back with a store-bought gift bag and no leftover cake. Jake looked bored, and Tricia looked guilty. Or maybe just tired. Hard to tell anymore. That night, I'm tucking Jake in, and he says the birthday boy was sick and didn't even come to his own party. I blink. So what did y'all do? He shrugs. Mommy said we were gonna hang out with her friend instead. I don't say anything. Not to him. But inside I'm red linen. She took our son to meet this friend? That's bold. That's stupid bold. I ask her about it later, of course. She says Jake's confused, and probably misunderstood. He's 6, Chuck. He thinks Paw Patrol is real. Yeah. He also remembers stuff like an elephant, and never makes up stories unless he's playing with Legos. I don't sleep much that night. Just lay there listening to her breathing, wondering who else she's breathed like that for. And then Monday happened. I come home from work. Jake's sitting at the kitchen table, crayons spread everywhere. He's drawing like his life depends on it, all focused and serious. I ruffle his hair, grab a beer, and sit down to see what masterpiece he's working on. It's our house. Stick figures again. But this time, there's 4 of them. There's me, him, and 2 others. One's clearly Tricia, he labeled it. Mommy. The other? Tall, with a beard. Also labeled, in clumsy 6-year-old letters. Mommy's friend. I feel my stomach drop clean through the floor. I ask, careful not to sound shook. Who's this? Jake, still collaring, says. That's the guy who comes over when you're at work. He brings Mommy coffee and sometimes he plays with my trucks. I didn't say a word. I just stared at that drawing like it was a damn photograph. And right then I knew. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't paranoid. I was being played. But she don't know I know yet. And next time? She's gonna find out real hard that I ain't the type to just roll over and take it. I stared at that damn drawing for a long time after Jake went to bed. Just sat at the kitchen table, beer in one hand, picture in the other. Couldn't stop looking at that stick figure labeled Mommy's friend. Big dumb smile drawn on his face. Taller than me, even in crayon. She brought him here. Into my house. While I was busting my ass under car hoods and scrapping grease out of my fingernails, she was playing house with some other man under my roof, with our son watching. That's what really got me. Not just the betrayal. The damn audacity of it. And Jake? He don't even know. He thinks the guy's just some buddy of hers. Innocent. It was protecting him that made me decide I couldn't wait anymore. This wasn't just sneaking around. She made our boy part of her lie. So I started setting things in motion. Next morning, I took the day off work. Told the boys at the shop I had some family stuff to deal with. Which wasn't a lie, just didn't tell them it involved espionage, surveillance, and potentially bail money. First thing I did was stop by a buddy's place, works IT for the county. Real sharp, owes me a favor from back when I fixed his truck for cheap. I asked him what he could do with a phone number and a couple locations. Said give him the day. While he worked, I started going through Tricia's stuff. Not digging like a man, just poking around. And what do you know? Found that second phone. Hidden in a shoebox in the back of her closet. Dead battery. Amateur hour. Charged it up, cracked the passcode in under 5 tries. Her birthday, same as always. I scrolled through the messages. They'd been talking for months. Him sending her good morning texts, her talking about how trapped she feels. There was one where she said, I feel like I'm finally alive again when I'm with you. That one made my jaw tighten so hard I damn near cracked a molar. Even worse? There were pictures. Not dirty ones, thank God, but cozy little selfies in my backyard, on my porch, smilin' like a couple of teenagers. My grill's in the background of one of 'em. My goddamn grill. You cheat on me? Fine. But don't drag my Weber into it. By the time I shut that phone off, my buddy had already sent me a full rundown on Mr. Raymond Dunleavy. Divorced, sells real estate, some minor legal trouble a few years back for tax stuff. Not enough to sink him, but enough to be useful. Most important detail? His company has a squeaky clean image. Christian family-run firm. The kind that don't take kindly to affairs with married women, especially when it gets public. So here's what I did. That Friday, Tricia tells me she's headed to a girls' night. Says they're going to dinner and a paint and sip thing. I nod, smile, give her a little kiss on the cheek. Then I drop Jake off at my sister's for the night. I knew exactly where she was going. I waited till she left, then I drove across town and parked 2 streets over from Ray's condo. I walked the last couple blocks, cut through a little side yard, and found a perfect vantage point right outside his window. And there they were, eating takeout on the couch, Logan like they were living in a goddamn rom-com. She didn't even lock the front door. I walked right in. He jumped up like he saw a ghost. Tricia just froze, mouth open, like someone hit pause on a bad movie. Hey Ray, I said, looking around. Nice place. Y'all settling in okay? She starts babbling. Chuck, wait, this isn't what it looks like. I cut her off. It looks like my wife and some pencil-neck jackass shacked up like a pair of feral cats. Ray tried to say something. I raised my hand. Don't. Just don't. Then I reached into my jacket and dropped the printed screenshots on the table. Her texts, the photos, the drawing from Jake, all of it. You bring my kid into this, Trish? You lied to him, drag him into your affair, and you think there ain't gonna be consequences? She tried to spin it. Claimed it was just emotional. Said it only got physical a couple times. I laughed. That kind of dry, tired laugh you give when someone shits on your boots and calls it therapy. Then I looked at Ray. Hope your bosses don't mind bad press. Because I've got a contact at the paper that'll eat this up. Married woman, affair, kid involved, betrayal of the nuclear family. Might even make a Sunday special. Ray went pale. Didn't say a damn word. Just stared at the floor. I turned to Tricia, looked her dead in the eye. I'm done. You don't come back to the house. You don't take Jake unless I say. You want to play house with this clown, go ahead. But you won't be using my name, my money, or my kid to do it. And then I walked out. Didn't slam the door. Just shut it nice and quiet. Over the next week, I filed for divorce. Used all the evidence. Sent a nice little anonymous tip to Ray's company. Don't know what happened exactly, but his listing disappeared from their website 2 days later. Tricia tried to guilt-trip me, cried over the phone, left long voicemails about how I ruined everything. She ain't wrong. But she sure as hell ain't the victim. Judge sided with me in court. I got full custody. She got visitations once a month, supervised. She lives with her sister now, last I heard. Probably still telling folks I was controlling. Jake's doing good. We're doing good. And the fridge? It's got a new drawing on it. Just me and him, working on a truck together. Big smiles. Son in the corner again. No. Mommy's friend. Just us. Right where it all started. And where it'll stay.